Hey there, my dear child. Gather close, because tonight, I'm telling you a story that'll chill your bones and tug at your heart. It's a tale of a bright morning in New York City, where a little boy with a big smile vanished into thin air. The world stopped, searched, and wept, but the truth hid in the shadows for decades. This is the story of Etan Patz, a 6-year-old whose disappearance changed how we protect our kids. Stay sharp, because this one's about real danger, real loss, and a silent kidnapper who slipped through the cracks. Ready? Let's step back to 1979. Picture a bustling morning in Soho, a gritty part of Manhattan where artists and families, like the Patzes, lived in big, open lofts. Etan Patz, a blonde-haired, blue-eyed boy, woke up on May 25th, 1979, excited as ever. He put on his favorite black pilot cap, the one that said Future Flight Captain, blue jeans, a blue corduroy jacket, and sneakers with glowing stripes. His mom, Julie, ran a daycare at home, so the house was busy with kids. Etan's dad, Stanley, a photographer, was getting ready for work. Their daughter, Shira, was off to her school, and little brother Ari was toddling around. Etan had been begging for weeks to walk to the school bus stop alone. It was only 2 blocks away, and the bus was back after a strike. The neighborhood felt safe, close-knit. So Julie and Stanley said yes. Just this once. Julie walked Etan downstairs, handed him $1 for a soda, and kissed him goodbye. She watched him cross the first street at Worcester and Prince, his small figure proud and confident. Then she went back upstairs, trusting he'd make it the last 150 feet to the bus stop at West Broadway. A neighbor saw him at the corner. A mailman did too. But after that, Etan was gone. He never got on a bus. At school, his teacher noticed he wasn't there but didn't tell anyone. Hours passed. When Etan didn't come home that afternoon, Julie's heart sank. She called the police, and the nightmare began. By evening, nearly 100 officers flooded Soho. Bloodhounds sniffed the wet streets. It had been drizzling, making sense hard to track. The Patz's loft turned into a command center. Stanley and Julie stayed by the phone, praying Etan would call or a kidnapper would demand ransom. Helicopters buzzed overhead. Neighbors joined the search, knocking on doors, checking rooftops and basements. Detective William Butler, one of the first on the scene, knew this wasn't a kid playing hooky. Something was wrong. Very wrong. Days turned into weeks. Stanley, with his photographer's eye, shared Etan's pictures, those smiling shots of a boy with straight blonde hair and bright eyes. They were plastered on posters, billboards, and telephone poles. Etan's face became a symbol of every parent's fear. Tips poured in hundreds, then thousands, but none led to him. The police first wondered if Julie or Stanley had something to do with it, as they often look at parents in these cases. But the Patzes were cleared fast. They were loving, heartbroken, and desperate. Now, my child, let's talk about the suspects. Early on, police eyed Jose Ramos, a drifter who dated Etan's old babysitter. Ramos was a known creep, later convicted for hurting kids in Pennsylvania. In the 1980s, while in jail, he told an informant he'd taken a boy matching Etan's description to his apartment that day in 1979. He claimed he was 90% sure it was Etan, but said he let the boy go. No proof tied him to Etan, though. No body, no crime scene, no witnesses. In 1991, Ramos even drew a map of Etan's bus route, showing he knew details only someone involved might. Still, the police couldn't charge him. Etan's parents sued Ramos in a civil court in 2004 and won a $2 million judgment, but Ramos never paid. He stayed the prime suspect for years, but the case grew cold. Etan's disappearance shook the nation. His picture was one of the first on milk cartons in the 1980s, a new way to spread the word about missing kids. In 1983, President Ronald Reagan made May 25th, the day Etan vanished, National Missing Children's Day. The Patzes fought hard, pushing for laws to track missing kids better, like fingerprint databases and school alerts for absent students. Etan's case changed how parents watched their children. Before, kids roamed free. After Etan, stranger danger became a real fear. Soho, once a place where kids played outside, felt darker. Julie said it best. "We keep going because if our son is alive, he needs a family to come back to." Years passed. Etan was declared legally dead in 2001, but the Patzes never gave up hope. Then, in 2010, the Manhattan District Attorney's Office reopened the case. They dug deep, chasing new leads. In 2012, the FBI searched a basement near the Patzes' home, thinking Etan's body might be there. They found nothing, but a tip came and that changed everything. A man named Jose Lopez, the brother-in-law of Pedro Hernandez, called police. Hernandez, a quiet 51-year-old from New Jersey, had worked as a stock boy at a bodega near Etan's bus stop in 1979. Lopez said Hernandez had been telling family for years that he'd heard a child in New York. Police brought Hernandez, and on May 23rd, 2012, after hours of questioning, he confessed. He said he lured Etan into the bodega's basement with the promise of a soda. There, he strangled the boy, put his body in a plastic bag, stuffed it in a box, and threw it in an alley with the trash. He seemed remorseful, saying he felt relief confessing. Police were stunned. New York City Police Commissioner Raymond Kelly said Hernandez's details matched the case enough to charge him with second-degree murder and first-degree kidnapping. But there was a catch. No body, no forensic evidence, just his words. The trial in 2015 was tough. Hernandez's lawyer, Harvey Fishbein, said his client wasn't credible. Hernandez had a low IQ, around 70, and a mental illness called schizotypal personality disorder, which can cause hallucinations. Fishbein argued the confession was false, forced by police who pressured Hernandez for over 7 hours without recording it. He pointed to Ramos as the real culprit. Prosecutors leaned on Hernandez's own words, plus stories from his family. His ex-wife, Daisy Rivera, said he told her in the early 1980s he'd strangled someone and dumped the body. She even found Etan's picture among his things. Hernandez's sister, Nina, and a church leader, Tomas Rivera, said he'd confessed to killing a boy in front of church members years ago. It was an open family secret, Nina said. The jury struggled. After 18 days, they were deadlocked, 11 for guilty, 1 against. A mistrial was declared. Stanley Patz was crushed, but sure Hernandez was guilty. His story is simple, and it makes sense, he said. The retrial started in October 2016. This time, prosecutors worked harder to show Hernandez knew right from wrong, despite his mental health issues. Juror Mike Castellan later said they believe Hernandez wasn't delusional about the crime. On February 14, 2017, after 9 days of debate, the jury found Hernandez guilty of kidnapping and murder. On April 18, 2017, he was sentenced to 25 years to life. The Patzes finally had justice, or as close as they'd get. Stanley said, "I'm relieved." It's about time. But doubts linger, my child. Hernandez's confession had holes. He said he saw Etan at the bus stop, but police believe Etan never made it there. No one else saw Etan that morning at the bodega. His book bag, which he carried, was never found. Some FBI agents who worked the case for years thought Ramos was still the better suspect. The lack of a body or physical evidence makes this case haunting. Did Hernandez really do it? Or did a troubled man confess to a crime he imagined? We may never know. Now let's talk straight, my child. Etan's story teaches us hard lessons. First, always stay aware of your surroundings. Even in a safe place can hide. If you're a parent, know where your kids are every minute. Etan's teacher didn't report his absence, and that delay hurt the search. Schools need to call parents if a child doesn't show up. If you're a kid, never go anywhere with a stranger, even for something as simple as a soda. Trust your gut. If something feels off, run and tell someone you trust. And if you ever see something suspicious, speak up. Jose Lopez's tips solved this case after 33 years. Your voice could save someone. This story also shows how grief can break you, but also make you stronger. The Patzes lost their son, but they fought for other kids. They helped create a world where missing children get more attention. That's courage. If you're hurting, don't let pain define you. Use it to help others, like Stanley and Julie did. And if you're ever in a tough spot, don't be afraid to ask for help. Talk to family, friends, or even a counselor. You're never alone.